Did note that today's meeting did not start until about over an hour.
That's because we're talking about your fucking...
Yeah. So I'm speaking today about
is Vernon Goins.
President Young, members of the board, general counsel, and members of the community. My name is Vernon Goins, and I've been retained by April Chan in connection with the allegations of racial profiling and discrimination. First and foremost, to Ms. Conway, who just spoke, anything that may have happened to you, anything that you may have interpreted as being insulting, offensive, disrespectful, on behalf of Ms. Chan, I truly apologize. Something like that should never occur, and in no shape, form, or fashion should anyone feel that way. But let's just be absolutely 100% clear. The EBMUD resolution with regard to race, as it was connected to an African-American male who was slaughtered, that is racial profiling. That is racial discrimination. That involves somebody who died, who gave up their life, who had no opportunity to protect themselves. This situation here has nothing to do with race at all. The definition of racial profiling is when the offender effectively, or the offender profiles or selects someone, and it is within the law enforcement and in the prosecutorial world. To hear George Floyd associated or involved with this type of circumstance is insulting, and it's disgraceful. There's nothing anti-black about someone disagreeing with someone else. There's nothing anti-black about verbal altercation. The term agree to disagree is something that keeps us together. And at this inflection point in history, for a particular board member to use this as a way to weaponize the organization in order to bring this to the level of racism is just quite sad. Because the resources of this organization, the resources of our community, should be spent on something else. It shouldn't have to be involved with Ms. Chan hiring a lawyer. It shouldn't take the resources and the energy and the time that you all should be spending on much bigger and better things. I'd like to conclude by saying that if this board does, in fact, take into consideration or wants to consider suspending or temporarily removing Ms. Chan from her office positions, then it should provide her with due process, as we've been advocating, as we've been requesting for many, many years here. And for her due process rights to be violated in a manner such as this is a matter that should be heard in closed session. This is a matter that should be investigated first before you begin punishing or before you begin stripping people of their rights. And that would include a full investigation of not only Ms. Chan in interviewing, but also taking into consideration and being mindful and thoughtful and sensitive to Ms. Conway's perspective, but also to take into consideration those who are responsible for this. President Young, it is your duty and responsibility. You owe this to the public. No more wasting of valuable resources of this organization to threaten, to retaliate, or to try to curb behavior. A jury of this county has already decided against you. Please, board, I ask that you take into consideration the guidelines that are set up. A temporary removal is a removal, and Ms. Chan deserves due process. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Goins. As I indicated that I would at the outset of this item, the floor is now open to Director Chan.
President Young, we have two hands online for public comment.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm going to ask for the first speaker, which is Yvette Rivera.
You have 3 minutes, Ms. Rivera.
You should be able to unmute your mic, and your 3 minutes start now.
Thank you. I'm probably going to only need 30 seconds. I just want to say it's completely disgusting that President Marguerite Young invoked the name of George Floyd over a matter that involves a parking space. It doesn't surprise me, and I'm completely disgusted given East Bay MUD's institutional history of discriminating against minorities at East Bay MUD. That's all I have. I yield.
Thank you, Ms. Rivera.